Okay, so we are going live today. We are getting closer and closer to Christmas and Yule and solstice and Saturnalia and all the beautiful holidays happening this time of year. So we are doing the next installment, the next day of self-care through the Advent calendar, based on the Advent calendar from my childhood, from my youth, and having the symbolism be more spiritual for that. So today we are doing Diamond. Yay! String. Yay! Diamond. And I'm trying very hard not to sing the song like diamonds are a girl's best friend, especially from Moulin Rouge. I loved that movie, by the way. So, diamonds, as far as self care, I want to take this in two similar directions, but very different directions. So, the first thing I want to say is that a form of self care is setting healthy boundaries, and sometimes those boundaries are very hard. Um, and a big boundary that more people need to set during this time of year is what money they are willing to spend versus what money they actually have available to spend during this time of year. A lot of people will avoid their self care in the form of overspending on other people to make sure that they are taken care of and that the measuring stick of capitalism and consumerism is still long and hard to make their lives harder, which is not the point of this holiday. And it's also not the point of self care. And so it's being very honest with yourself, which is something that can be really uncomfortable, being honest about how much money you actually do have to spend and the capability to invest in that aspect of your life. And so during this time of year, it's setting healthy boundaries and expectations about the money that you're planning to spend, that not everything has to be a diamond, not everything has to show love to somebody. It does not have to cost a lot of money. Personal example is that I spent $17 on 25 ducks, little rubber duckies. And that'll be 25 different gifts for people because they are weird ducks that all look very odd, which is the point. It's about being a lovable odd duck. But it's about being fun and sentimental and understanding that everyone gives gifts differently. Everyone's love language is different. Everyone's priorities and price range is different. The point is, no matter what your price range is, you shouldn't be going into debt during this time of year to show love. You really shouldn't be going into debt any time of year to show love. If someone isn't happy with you in your life, unless you a hooker, and by all means, respect to sex workers, go get you some. It's honest work. But unless it's that type of situation, it's okay. It genuinely is okay not to overspend on people. And the reason this is actually coming up, besides the fact that it's diamonds, but the reason why I picked today to talk about it is actually because last night I was talking to one of my colleagues from the blocks, and they are a fabulous, successful human being. And I adore talking to them. And they said that they hate that they can't get behind this holiday. And for those who are watching and are used to watching me do this is my time of year. This is it. I love the winter holiday, whether it is Yule, Saturnalia, Christmas, solstice, Hanukkah. I do not care. Yes to them all. They are all beautiful. They're all awesome. I want to celebrate all of them. I love this holiday season. It is magical, and it has so little to do with gift giving and money for me. It is all about like the fun and charity and honesty. It makes me happy. I listen to Christmas music so often. So he said, I just don't like the holiday. And I was like, huh, I understand not everyone likes the holiday, but how are we friends? Like, what is that? And he said, it's turned into, for so many, just a capitalist and consumer driven holiday. And I don't want that. And I don't have time for that. And the shitty thing is that he's right. To participate in this holiday, a lot of times you have to do those things. You have to overspend, you have to be put in that scope, and that it's lost a lot of its magic. And so through self-care, we can add some of that magic back to Christmas for a lot of people. I obviously don't let it dampen anything that I do. I have 130 feet of lights that I made into lattice work on my deck. Yeah, I did that. It took several hours and some pain medication, but I did it. And it was awesome and fabulous and no regrets. And so it's this season is not about money as much as people want it to be. So it's not about how much you spend. So that's a big part of surviving this Advent season through self-care, this holiday season through self-care. But the other part of self-care that I want to discuss based on the symbolism of the diamond is that self-care does not have to be expensive. There are many things, especially in the US, that are expensive because of self-care. So, the US medical system, that's one. Yes, making sure that you're going to the doctors and taking medication is a very expensive, and honestly, it's priced out for a lot of people, form of self-care. But self-care does not have to be expensive. There's this myth that it has to be an all-day spa, or it has to be a retreat to a foreign country, or it has to be the biggest and best and 15 books and all of this money spent. And it really doesn't. Self-care, some of the best forms of self-care, some of the most effective forms of self-care, some of the self-care that you will use every day is free or close to free. It's not meant to be so expensive that you can't do self-care. So breathing is a huge part of self-care that people forget. And everyone's like, oh, I do that. Yeah, when was the last time you took a deep breath without your shoulders hitting your ears? Let's just talk about it. Drinking water is a huge part of self-care. Being able to be in a safe space, which for some people does cost money, and I acknowledge that. And I hope you can find a safe space, like your house or your friend's house or something, a place where you can just exist without pressure or stress is really important to self-care. And hopefully that is free or close to free, or else you have accessibility to it. If not, I strongly suggest a library. They are a lot of fun, and all you need is your library card. And that's doable for a lot of people. Self-care is not supposed to make you bankrupt. Part of self-care is financial independence and financial literacy, which a lot of people don't understand. But if you cannot handle your own finances and you're not aware of them because you just don't know how, no shame, not all of us were exposed to that, it can really affect your self-care and your stress and your ability to take care of yourself in a mindful way, to know what your priorities are, to know what you need to give yourself, to know what you need to do for yourself. All of that comes into play with self-care. So when thinking about your self-care, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. You can think of the frequency, like these are the things I do every day. These things I do once a week, once a month, once a season, once a year, sporadically. All of that, and all of that is in the membership, the Year in a Day membership that I do, is that we assess all your different forms of self-care through a timeline. The other thing that you can do is through budgeting. So these are the things of self-care that I do for free. These are the things of self-care that I do that are readily accessible to me. These are the things that are cheap. These things are moderate. And these are the things that if unicorns shit rainbows, we would do. That type of thing. So there's a way to separate your self-care, to organize it so that it's easily accessible to you, so that you understand. So instead of it being like, oh my God, I just don't know what to do, or I don't have the money to do self-care, you're going to have that list already made. You're going to have that pre-made design. It's like, oh, I have $20 today to do self-care. What does that look like for you? Versus if you had 200, versus if you had 2,000. Let's be honest, most of us, if we had 2,000, we'd like go on a trip or do a full spa day or something like that. Or if you wanted financial literacy, you can put it into savings or invest or any of those things, whatever self-care looks like to you. So basically, during this time of year, during the winter holiday season and throughout the entire year, no form of self-care or love for other people should put you in financial trouble, should put you into debt. It's not meant to be that way. For people who measure love by gifts and the amount of suffering that your friends will go through to give you gifts, you're a bad person. Yeah. If you're sitting there, well, if my friend isn't willing to go into debt, then they don't love me. I don't love you. I wouldn't. I would have a very hard time with you in my life. So it's about being respectful to yourself. It's about respecting others. So as much as you shouldn't go into debt, you also shouldn't expect others to go into debt. That is like, oh, that person didn't get me a good gift. Now, With this, I still want you to demand like what you deserve. And so if someone can afford it and your relationship dynamic is okay with it and understands it and everything, and they give you like a 50-cent stick of package of gum when they should have like taken you out to dinner or gotten you a book series or something, like have a talk with that person. But if this is something where like that person has no money, don't expect the gift. Also, value things that are not store bought and meant to be incredibly expensive. You know, like expensive purses, designer clothes. In my world, very expensive healing stones are a thing, and so. But a tumbled stone is just as good. I've had friends give me tumble stones. I love them just as much. I keep all of them. I use all of them absolutely. So it's about being realistic and knowing what the budget is, and not everything has to be fancy. Sometimes handmade and homemade things are the best. I have several friends who never want any gift from me. They just want me to make them food. Because I bake really well. I'm okay at cooking, but I'm really good at baking. I'm not Great British Bake Show though. Let's lower the standards. Um, but so they have me bake, and that's their gift. That's always their gift. I had a friend who sent me chocolates recently, and the chocolates were probably like a $30 bottle box of chocolates. I lost my freaking mind. I was so happy. I sent them a video of me like I was unaware that when I am excited and happy, I make a high-pitched cooing noise. I am acutely aware of this now that it has been caught on camera. So yeah, I made the high-pitched cooing noise. That apparently means that I greatly appreciate a gift. And it was $30. That's a lovely gift. It's not, a super expensive purse, but who gives a shit? It was chocolate. It's exactly what I wanted. It was milk chocolate, and I've only had dark chocolate in the house for like over a month, and I'm a milk chocolate kind of whore. And so I was just see, I'm still getting worked up about it. So it does not have to be an expensive gift for you to really appreciate it. If it is something that someone wants, heck yeah. Oh, get the things that make you go squee. Get stuff for people that makes them go squee. If they're not squeeing over it, no matter how much it costs, like it's not worth it. And if people are only squeeing over expensive things, fuck them. There is no time for that. Understanding that some people have bougier tastes, and that's fine. But if that's the value system that you're using for like everything and for the love of your friends, that is not, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I love the expensive gifts that people give me. I love the chocolate that people give me. I have a client who sees me at events, and whenever she sees me at events, she will put hypoallergenic, she'll put safe for me to eat because of my allergies, fruit snacks on my table for me to have. I think that's awesome. They probably cost her 50 cents. Don't care. They're awesome. I love them. It's great. If you couldn't tell, I'm a very food motivated person. I was accused today of having food be my love language, and I gotta say, legit. I love all the love languages, but food, special place in my heart. So with that, what self-care are you doing? What boundaries are you setting around self-care with pertaining to money? Stick to it. Stick to the budget. Stick to the budget. Budgeting is self-care. Stick to the budget. Be able to be aware of what it is and what it's doing for you and not doing for you. And be mindful of that to have that be a part of what you're doing and your self-care process this holiday season. Go forth. Do not break the bank. Do not go into debt. No one is worth that. No one is worth that. Remember that your self-care does not have to be super expensive to be effective. Treat yourself every once in a while, but stay inside your budget and your life will be better. Go forth, be the hero of your own story. And remember that if you are having trouble with your self-care, link in the bio. We want you to get through this holiday season to the best of your ability, rocking your authentic self, preferably being offensively authentic so that someone can choke on your sparkle. Go forth and have a great day, everybody.